Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. We've got a great program lined up for you tonight. Intel is our guest this hour, and we're going to take a very close look at what Intel is doing in the world of tablets. Chris Walker is here. He's Intel's general manager for tablets in their mobile communications group, and we're going to be talking about all the different tablets that Intel is making those little chips inside, and we'll be talking to him in the first hour. And then in hour two, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax. We'll see you in the chat room, and we'll be starting in about 3.5 minutes.
3 minutes until showtime.
Make that 3 minutes. Ben is here with me in the video, but you can't see him because he's eating cookies. And he doesn't want you to see him eating cookies. Well, now we see a giant cookie.
Hey, sometimes you get the urge.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with eating a cookie. You just want to eat it when you're on the microphone. Exactly. Okay. All right, Chris, one final check with you. You've been hearing everything, I assume?
Hearing just fine.
Okay. All righty. We'll put you back on mute, and we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Okay.
2 minutes until showtime. One minute until showtime.
Stand by, 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Oh, Ben. Okay. It's really I have to get used to it, you being my co-host now, Monday through Friday.
I wasn't gone for that long, was
no,
I?
No, you weren't. No. No. So, anyhow, We have a great show planned for you tonight here on the Computer America program. In hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And if you're watching us live or listening to us live on the Computer America website, you should also know that we now have live Computer America video streaming. And that page is brought to you by Otherworld Computing, quality products, expert support since 1988, now celebrating its 25th anniversary. For any of your PC or Mac needs, or PlayStation 4 needs, or Xbox One needs, visit them at www.macsales.com. All right. So, anything new to report? You didn't have class today. You have class Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? So you were off. You got a break.
Yeah, very true. I was able to stay home and spend the day working on the new website.
Oh, yes, and we are looking forward to seeing the new Computer America website.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay, well, let's get right to it because I'm very anxious to talk to our guest on this particular topic. Intel is our guest tonight. That's right, and it's our Intel Sponsor Hour. Each month we have an Intel representative speaking on new Intel products and services, and well as news stories. Now tonight we have Chris Walker to discuss what Intel is doing in the tablet arena. Chris is Intel's General Manager for tablets in their mobile communications group. Chris, welcome into Computer America. How are you tonight?
Excellent. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Well, we're really glad that you're here with us. Tablets, boy, I'll tell you. You hear different things. You hear, oh, the tablet market is booming, and now the tablet market is doing not so well, and desktops are coming back. But the bottom line is tablets are here, and there are a lot of new tablets on the market. So let me start off by asking you, what should a consumer look for when buying a tablet?
Sure. I mean, the choices truly are amazing and broad, and it's pretty easy to sometimes get overwhelmed by it all when you're looking at a sea of screens. But the great upshot to that is there really is a device for everyone's need. There is a lot of specialization. There's a lot of customization coming and in the market from a wide range of brands. So from an Intel standpoint, as an example, we work with the range of major PC makers, your Dells, your HPs, Lenovo's, Acer, Asus. It's almost the A to Z. But also a lot of you see more and more specialty mobile-only providers as well. And we're really excited to be partnering with the whole range of the ecosystem. I think when you come into and say I want to buy a tablet, like any electronics purchase, you want to think about, well, what am I going to use it for? And then also consider your budget. And as people look at it, sometimes someone has a favorite app, and that app is going to drive power and drive performance needs. And so you want to think about, well, what range of device, what kind of screen quality am I going to need to do that? And then others will look at it and say, well, I'm more about the aesthetics. I want this kind of fit and feel. I'm all about maybe color. And so that's in the gamut. On top of that, what kind of user interface do you like? Some people are Windows, some people are Android. But what we find is underpinning all the different tablet choices and uses, most people do have a base use of, I want to do media, I want it to feel good and responsive. So, when you pinch and zoom that map, how fast does it respond? When you scroll a real complex web page, maybe something like a Wikipedia page on the Olympics with lots of video, lots of text and graphs. How does that feel to you coming back? And we think that's important to how people's satisfaction with their tablets. And we feel that's one thing that Intel can do, being known for performance, can help add to that user experience. And so underneath all that choice, underneath all those variations when you're shopping, you can know that an Intel-based device gives you the performance, gives you that responsiveness you're going to want, and also the bottom line, you want to do it for 8, 10, 12 hours, and you'll have the battery life to be able to do it. So we're really excited what we've done with our product line to look at the needs of tablets and be able to support a very big breadth of OEM devices that pretty much meets whatever niche you're in.
You know, when I first heard you talking about this, I would have thought the approach to tablets sounds a lot like if I was shopping for a desktop or for a laptop or for a notebook. I mean, all the things that you were saying, you really, it sounds it's basically the same amount of effort that you would put in for shopping for any of these form factors.
It's almost like they're both computers.
Well, yeah, and in the fact that it does all compute, and it all connects to the internet. And the thing with tablets is they're so, it's so personal because it's something you're carrying with you many times, right? Or it's a thing that you're using kind of on your couch in your downtime or before you go to bed at night. And so essentially we don't talk as speeds and feeds like we used to in the good old desktop days, but that performance is still a requirement. That performance is still what people feel, and so it's maybe less about specific number, but it's more about does it feel fast, does it feel fluid, and that takes just as much performance and engineering as it does in a desktop or notebook usage.
So the things, how I would approach buying let's say a notebook computer or a laptop computer or even a desktop. So some of those specs kind of apply. In other words, I'm shopping for a processor. If I'm looking for a Core i5 or Core i7 in my desktop, should I look for those? I mean, are those choices available to me or similar choices available to me in these different tablets, models and makes and models?
Sure. What we've done is we've actually designed grounds up for tablets in what we call our Atom product line. And so that's the case where we look specifically again at kind of those tablet usages with an eye towards a touch-first interface, with an eye towards 8, 10, 12 hours of battery life, and the fact that these are thin. Want to be very thin devices, 7 to 9 millimeters thin, in the hundreds of grams, not the pounds. And so we architected for that. And that's what we've done with Atom. And then you start to see with our new Core M line that we've recently talked about, you'll start seeing that notebook kind of performance come into larger screen tablets. And we'll talk a bit about 2-in-1s because I think that's a really exciting form factor that blends tablet usage models with some of the productivity and PC-like usages you get with designed with keyboard.
Okay. You mentioned this Core M line. Now, is the Core M line different than the Atom processor line?
They are. So in the Atom processor line is designed to optimize around mobility for devices like a phone and tablet. And what we've done with the Core M line is take kind of core performance that you have come to know and expect in notebooks and desktops, and based on the strength of our manufacturing technology, now be able to bring that into thinner and thinner devices and kind of like larger screen 10 to 12-inch tablets and 2-in-1. So that's an option that keep an eye in that space, and you'll see some big exciting products from OEMs there as well.
All right, so what I'm getting from is that the Core M line seems to be a more powerful processor from Intel than your Atom processor line, more heavy duty.
Yeah, what you're getting is when you look at the spectrum of mobile devices, we have the Atom product line, which we optimize for tablets and phones, and then we have the Core product line that's optimized for performance, and that's coming in smaller and thinner and thinner form factors with better and better battery life now.
Okay. Now, you mentioned brands. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the brands where we're going to find the? You mentioned them, the Intel processor. You mentioned, I think, Acer and Dell. What are some of the model manufacturers?
Sure. So you see a wide range, and some of these are enterprise optimized and some are more consumer focused.
Mm-hmm.
So there's great designs out in the market now from Acer and ASUS, and things like the ASUS MemoPad. They have a 7-inch and 8-inch version where they focus on consumers with great colors, really nice screens, great accessories in terms of what you need there. You have other products like an HP ElitePad, a Dell Venue Pro, which have everything from 2-in-1s with attached keyboards to in the case of the HP, they have different enterprise accessories to meet different needs, be it maybe a retailer or an industrial manufacturer. They can customize a product to meet specific usages. And then in between, you have Lenovo, who does both commercial products and consumer products. So we see a wide range of customers who have adopted Intel into their mobility platforms. If you think worldwide, there's hundreds of designs available based on our platform, and that's really where I get back to. There's pretty much something that's going to meet everyone's need, whether you're a student, you're in business, or you're a consumer who wants just a great media experience.
Okay, now you mentioned student, and obviously back to school is top of mind for many parents and kids right now. I know Ben just started his last year in college. He's in computer science, and so are there certain tablets that are best for back to school or teenagers that you would suggest?
Sure. The latest tablets that have come out on Intel with our partners, they're stylish, they're entertaining, but they're also empowering to your child for learning. Mm-hmm. And so I mentioned two devices like the ASUS MemoPad 7-inch and MemoPad 8. Those are if you want your teenagers looking for a great tech accessory. Those have kind of the colors that they're going to look for, have all the performance for them to surf the web and do kind of their online research very fast and efficiently, and that's really a fun device for them. You also see things like the Curio Tab, which is a great learning tool for kids. That's something that comes loaded with about 60 education apps preloaded. It's got things like parental controls, so you can enable your child to be in a safe browsing environment by kind of fencing or walling off what kind of sites they're in. And things like it's got a bumper and it's durable, so when your little one throws it in the backpack or drops it off the dinner table, it's gonna absorb that and be good to go. So those are an interesting thing where you take a design for back to school and say, let's do kid safe. Let's do it the way the way kids are going to use it, but also in a way that the parents get a lot out of it, both by what's preloaded for the education software, but it's also durable with how a kid's going to use it.
Yeah. Now I'm at the Intel website, as a matter of fact, Intel.com. And I highly recommend you go there. And of course, you can go to our show notes page at ComputerAmerica.com. You go to tonight's show, which is August the 20th, and you'll see Intel right there with Chris Walker as our guest. And the thing is that right there it says Shop Tablets right on the Intel website, and I highly recommend that you go there because you can see it all in one location. How convenient! You can see the Acer, ASUS, Dell, Lenovo, Toshiba. You can see the details of these tablets. They have a lot of them up on the Intel website, so you can see them for yourself, different colors. I highly recommend that you check it out. If you're in the market for a tablet, you should go here and see, because it's almost like a one-stop shop. You can see everything right here on the Intel website. Very, very nice.
Yeah, thanks for that. We work very closely with our partners to get that message out, and they've done some great things off of our collaborations on the technology base.
Right, and they've done an astounding.
It's
really
paid off.
Yeah.
I actually have a question about the tablets for back to school, because that's where I am right now, and my question is more kind of towards, we named a couple of tablets, by name and who makes them, but what are some of the features that, back to school students should look for? I mean, I know that if I ever got a tablet for school, I would be reading textbooks off it. So of course, a higher screen resolution would be ideal because, in case you need to zoom in or anything like that. I mean, what features do you think back to school parents should be looking for in a tablet?
Right. So one of the really interesting features that comes is, let me do an example of many schools. You want compatibility with what the test environment is going to be. One of the great lines of tablets comes with Windows 8.1. So I'll give you two more examples. A Dell Venue 8 or a Dell Venue 11 are devices that are with Windows 8.1, a great touch first environment, but they also come with Microsoft Office Home and Student. And so you start from a back to school, depending on what age you are, you get a productivity of having kind of some of the applications preloaded that kids are going to use as part of their schoolwork. There's also designs that in a two-in-one, kind of like the Dell Venue 11 or an Asus T100, where the tablet's also designed with a keyboard, where it attaches, where the two are designed together, and we call those two-in-ones. And so you're getting the benefits of a tablet with also some of the light productivity that you could do on a PC. And that's a great blend for students to be able to blend kind of that work and play. And underneath that, what we've done is, based on how we've architected our Atom processor lines, we know that you're going to have the performance, so it's not going to slow you down. It's going to keep up with you, and it's going to last all day. So as a student, that'd be a great feature to look at, in addition to some of the things that you mentioned, Ben, about a nice, brilliant screen, easy pinch and zoom when you're trying to focus in on whether it's something in a text document or a picture. Those are all great ways where the tablet keeps up with your usage.
Yeah, I'm looking at again at the Intel website. I'm looking at the Dell Venue 8 Pro, and it's got the detachable keyboard, the screen itself, the tablet itself acts a little I guess not necessarily kickstand, but basically a little stand, so it's angled at about a 45 to 50 degree angle, and it looks like it even comes with a stylus too. Very, very nice.
And there's and stylus is an interesting usage model, and a lot of people like that to do note taking, and we see that around a range of devices as well.
Yeah, exactly.
In addition, a lot of kids like the camera too. I'm always amazed at when I go to museums, when sometimes I'm traveling for work or for pleasure, the amount of people using their tablets to take stills and video, and because they're taking the bigger screen because they want to see a map easier, or if you're a kid, that's also maybe part of the device you're using to keep entertained. But what people do with all that video and snapshots on the tablet, you're truly more flexible when you're working with a larger screen, but also you have the capabilities that Intel brings to the tablet. You want to apply photo effects really quickly. You want to zap it up to your podcast or share it. How fast that tablet does the effects, does media conversion, all that contributes to how you feel about the device and how you get your work done, whether you're a student or whether you're in a professional environment.
Yeah, it really becomes a personal relationship with the tablet. I mean, because you're carrying it everywhere and you're interacting with it and using it. I would say perhaps even more than your desktop, because really, I certainly see what you're saying.
I mean, students are on the go all the time, and your desktop, unfortunately, not that easy to carry around.
No, exactly. and we're seeing more and more of that with back to school. So especially with field trips that they have, we're going to take you to the museum. You can use the camera, and that was an excellent point. And you can take those and then modify them as you're going along.
Right, and you're maybe looking at kind of real time some more information about the artwork you're looking at, or you're able to take notes, or you're able to take a picture, and probably some kids might be doing a game on the side while they're supposed to be listening to their teacher. So, to get kids, to get anybody engaged in work and productivity, you always have to be able to serve up the fun side at the same time.
Sure, exactly. Well, I'm sure there are applications out there they can take a picture of, I don't know, a particular painting, and then it will identify it, and then let them know what that painting is. So, certainly, all the wonderful software that's available to tablets today. So, back to school, of course, is important, but let's also, what about the work environment? I mean, we've heard that tablets are being used in businesses. I mean, are there certain features that consumers should look for when considering a tablet for business?
Tablets are becoming increasingly popular in the work environment. Basically, we see them as providing flexibility, function, security. Those are all the things that become more and more important for whether you're buying a tablet for yourself and bring it into the business, or maybe you're a small business person buying tablets for your employees for productivity. Mm-hmm. There's some really interesting trends in business where recently there was a 2013 Accenture Mobility CIO survey where 73% of them said chief information officers thought that mobility would impact business as much or more than the internet did in the 90s. So when you think about that impact of mobility and the role tablets play kind of in our daily lives, people are going more mobile. And the things that people want when they're mobile, in addition to all those cool consumer things we just talked about, is they want things fast, they want performance, which Intel provides, but there's additional features like identity protection technology. So Intel has technologies that helps work with IT to provide better and faster VPN logins. We offer and we work with companies on how tablets can fit into their work plans. And many people look at a tablet in business and say, well, maybe that's just a paper replace. But you start thinking about things like, this device has a camera too. Maybe that changes the way someone does inspections, whether it's on a pipeline or maybe an agriculture inspector. There's different workflows that really changes how people approach tasks when you've got not only the power of this tablet device, but also kind of the security and reliability that Intel brings with some of those consumer features. They really turn how they do their work on its head, and they're reimagining business, and it reimagines productivity.
I mean, just the kind of jobs that you're talking about, before where they'd have to go out, inspect it, and then write up a report, by hand. I would assume having video of the exact problem and, even replacing a report or, having that with the report would just, not only make it easier and faster and all that good stuff, but it would make just the quality of the work better.
Absolutely, and then there's another aspect where if you might have a video or a picture of something, does what you're taking a picture of match what you're expecting to see? In many cases, we've seen in different governments where they're doing inspections. They want to be able to match what someone's seeing out in the field with what's expected. In many cases, that takes a secure IT-like environment, and with Intel tablets, especially ones with Windows, people can approach that like they do a notebook, with all the flexibility, with the greater flexibility and portability of maybe a handheld tablet device, and that really changes how people approach both the workflow, but also they can still think about it in terms of how they want to keep the device secure, keep their corporate data secure. So those are all areas that are coming together right now in the mobility space.
I mean, I've seen so many applications. It's just, I mean, we had a plumber who came here, and he actually had a tablet with him, and he needed to order a particular part, and he was able to take a picture of the part and just send it off to the local supply people, and they had it in stock, and he was able to get it like immediately. I mean, just from day to day, people in the field, a lot of people who are out in the field, professionals who are in the field, are able to use the tablet and the camera in the tablet, as you mentioned, to do things and cut and also cut the time that they would normally have to do. They normally would have to call and look up the part number, and no, you know, it's just the tablets are just becoming another tool that business professionals carry with them. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it'll start interacting. It'll start interacting with you different in your daily life. Mm-hmm. Everything from as simple as sometimes when you're in a banking or a retail establishment, instead of waiting in line or at the checkout, people then can come out towards you. So there's cases where everything from burger joints to banks are starting to look at and use tablets to come out to the customer rather than you queuing up to them. And that changes your experience as a consumer, but it also makes the business more productive. But there's an underpinning that from a business they want the data, they want to be secure, because in some cases you're dealing with someone's personal information, not so much on the burger, but definitely on the if you're doing banking. But they also need to be able to work with the device in how they need to how they use other IT in their infrastructure. That's an important thing that we focus on, is making sure that it's cost effective for people to use these technologies.
Right, exactly. And again, we can go on. I mean, I see tablets. I see realtors. You know, people going to homes that they're bringing their tablets with them now. It's everybody has a tablet. People who are in services in the service TV services. Everybody, the phone company.
People driving cars, people riding bikes. I mean, they're all using tablets.
Yeah, well, tablets. They're everywhere, and that leads me to my next question. And we're probably won't have time because you're only about a minute or so. But I want you to start on it. And how are you seeing the tablet market evolve, Chris? I mean, for tablets, let's not in both the consumer market and the enterprise arena.
Right. So I think we talked a little bit at this top, but because of the device is that personal to people or that specific to a business, you start seeing a wide range of devices in sizes, shapes, degrees of ruggedness, where the device gets starting to get catered more and more to the usage. So you see that choice, both for consumers and businesses, and it's that targeting that I see as a big trend in the market. But then the device we see trends in more and more different things in cameras, where people will use the tablet more for visual. People doing tablets for gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
People in tablets for audio, right?
Yeah.
People who specialize and say, I want a great listening experience on it.
Well, that's
those are some baselines.
Yeah, and listen, the music means we're at the bottom of the hour, and I want to continue with this on how the tablet market is evolving. But we're going to take a break. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We're talking to Chris Walker from Intel. We'll come back with him right after these words.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect incredible risk-free trial. Get the no-no, the facial kit, a travel case, and a 100 a penny to try it. Try the incredible no-no hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-54.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can their life-saving dogs and puppies from to learn more about www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the Ventev R2240 Dashport 2 by 2.4 amp adapters. Now, we used to call it a lighter plug. It's now called a provide enough juice to power and charge a pair of tablets. So we were thrilled when the Ventev Dashport R2240 dual output universal charger arrived. It's long and slender, with one USB power port at its tail, another on its side, each rated at 2.4 amps, so that's 4.8 amps total. Its length and shape, long and skinny, may collide with the shift selector in some cars, so do check that out before deploying one. We especially like it as a way to feed a pair of power-hungry, high-capacity power pots in the car, making for a lot of utility and longevity without eating up the whole center console. Bottom line, the Ventev Dashport R2240 dual output universal charger delivers more current than most other current alternatives. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, we have Intel here, Chris Walker, and we're talking all about tablets tonight. And we were just on the question about the evolving tablet market, and actually, wanted to get a little bit more specific to Intel, in that you guys about every couple years come out with a new. I'm going to mess up all my terminology here. New architecture, Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge. You just had another one come out. Escapes me right now. Haswell. There we go. Thank you. I mean, does Intel kind of follow trends and see, okay, they want less battery but more power, and we can accommodate that? Or do you guys just kind of make your chips, smaller every year because you guys are going, down to the nanometers now?
Exactly.
Do you just make them smaller, faster, and more energy efficient, and throw it out there and say, have fun, everyone? Or are you like actually shifting, as to what the market is kind of asking for?
I think one of the truisms of computing, and this is what's powered by Moore's law, is things want to get faster, get more responsive, and do it at less and less power. And mobility, in whether it's phones, tablets, or notebooks, ultrabooks, only amplifies that change. So from our standpoint, our kind of unrelenting pursuit of the manufacturing advancement, the architecture advancement, definitely in some cases sets that pace, and in some cases, as an example, in mobility, yes, we look at market trends, and we look at what features, in addition to that performance and responsiveness, people need. So we look at, okay, how are some new usage, and we're talking about new usages. more and more, because these devices are with you all the time, or you rely on them in a more and more personal way, you'll see more integration of things like sensors. Maybe your tablet knows that you're driving 55 miles an hour, which means or 65 miles an hour in the case of California. You're on your way home, and it knows to kind of pre-feed different information. Maybe the tablet knows that, oops, I just walked into work. I want to, block that game that I had been playing, or my kid's walking into school, and so shut off all the game functions. Those are things that start coming in to tablet, and at the chip level, those are some things that you start designing for. Not just the low power you need when you're watching a movie or surfing the net, but low power when the low power for the device to last for days and days when it's doing things like listening for a voice trigger, or just enough power to keep those sensors going and compute and prefetch information and personalize it the way you need. And so that's a different way of using the design point and looking at where the market's going. So back to your question, Ben, I think we look at a bit of both. We set the trend, we use the maximum of what our technology can give us, but then you customize and you integrate, and you advance the platform in different ways that as the market changes and evolves very rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, I figure either way, every time that Intel does come out with a new chipset, it only takes about probably about 2 years for everyone to jump on board, and they have the latest and greatest. So, I mean, you guys, to say you set the trend is probably pretty fair.
Exactly. Now let's talk a little bit about, I guess, the usage model for tablets. We kind of understand. We've talked about what it is now, but do you see the usage model for tablets in any way shifting somehow?
Yeah, if anything, I see it as expanding. It doesn't go from one thing to another, but it broadens out. When tablets first came out, people were thinking of them as, all right, I surf the web, I watch a movie, which was cool, definitely cool. Definitely cool at the time. But now is it more and more of your email in ways that maybe you can't do on your phone because I got that presentation that I need to do a quick edit on and send back to the office. DJs using tablets to mix on, instrument apps on the tablet itself. Really, you get greater and greater creativity with the device, and doing it in ways that people didn't expect. I'm fortunate enough from our offices here in Santa Clara, where we're looking at the new Levi Stadium, which is a tremendous amount of Wi-Fi coverage. Why is that? Well, people are going to bring their mobile devices and tablets in there, and maybe while I'm watching the American football game, I want to stream European football at the same time, or do things in my fantasy league and stats that is a richer and more intense experience that I could do before. And as devices are more connected, as they're more powerful, people will take advantage of that.
Yeah, I would think so. Because you mentioned the music, do you know that I've seen like at least 2 or 3 there are music groups that are the only instrument they have are their tablets. They're up on stage and they're playing the drums and they're playing the keyboard and they're playing the horns and everything, but it's all with their tablets. Individual musicians, and it's amazing to watch them. So as you say, I mean, they're as I said before, I'm repeating myself, but they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere, and the usage model will also shift when a new capability comes in. So something we're pretty excited about as a new feature coming into tablets is something we've called RealSense 3D cameras, and that's going to give the ability to bring 3D usages to a tablet. So some examples would be maybe you're doing online shopping and you've got the ability to take having scanned your living room environment, how is that going to look with the latest furniture? And maybe so you have more accurate measurements to match that up with. If I'm there's some really cool kid usages where I can set up my sandbox and maybe scan what I'm doing into a cartoon environment of my favorite show, and that's a usage where it's really going to change how people approach it. May even have some great business apps where you can do measurements using the camera device.
So this is,
or at least
is this a function of the camera itself, or is this a software, or is it a combination of both?
It's all a combination it's all a combination, and that's where from an Intel standpoint, we think and do more and more platform now. And what that means is we work with our OEM partners to bring these technologies to life. But we engineer beyond the chip to think about, hey, here's some cool usages. Here's the types of technologies that either are coming from Intel at the chip level or beyond the chip level, or that we can partner with to bring these together. And they really have to be co-engineered, co-optimized together. And we've really done more and more in our engineering to work on those solutions.
So you're saying you can use this camera that's coming out, so I can take a picture of a room, for example, and it'll give me the dimensions of the room, and that's more on the hardware level than the software level, is what you're saying?
It all has to work together. And one of the things that we talked about, the usage is shifting, and how do I see the tablet market evolve? One of the things that we see is increasingly you have to do the hardware and software together, and we work very closely with developers on that. Everything from camera type usages I just described to getting the most out of games and working with some of the leading game engines so your game experience is great on Intel.
Yeah, we're back to games again. I love it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know, for example, that there are products out there now. I can use my tablet or even my phone, but I can use the tablet to take a picture of any house, and then it's going to identify the house and then tell me if it's if it's on the market or and location. I mean, so there are I think it's called HomeSnap. There are a lot of them out there that will do that, and there's some amazing products where it borders on artificial intelligence, where you take a picture, but not only you have the picture, but it knows what's in the content of the picture, and it's just amazing. And of course, tablets and phones are perfect for that, because you wouldn't want to do that with your desktop, obviously. So, and I think we're seeing more and more of these types of things becoming available as the usage model for tablets. Where people are
and then what you do with that matters afterwards, and that's where we believe that we make a huge difference for how people use and work with their tablets, that it's fast, it's fluid, and it doesn't sacrifice the battery life they need to keep going.
Sure. No.
And that's how we think about the devices.
All right. Now, Chris, I'm going to ask you this question because, look, you're the guy. I mean, you're in the trenches, with Intel. You're the general manager for tablets. you know this is, and there have been some reports on tablets growth slowing down, but yet on the other hand, PC sales are picking up again. So I'm going to ask you: is that what you're seeing, in the market, in the markets? What's going on?
Well, I think on the tablet side, just like in any industry, there's a wave and there's a huge pop when new products are introduced, and there's no denying tablets have grown incredibly fast, and with faster penetration than most any other IT technology device. So that explosive growth has happened in really a very, very short time. And so the market, what you see, starts to stabilize. And so there's growth, but it grows a little less than it was last year. That said, if you look at the first quarter of this year, it grew 20. The market grew 20% larger than it was the same time 12 months ago.
Wow.
So you might see, one vendor or maybe one price point or one screen size flattening or declining, but you definitely see tablets here to stay.
Yeah.
Now, what changes is maybe the screen, the most popular screen size, price point, and functionality. So in some cases, we see people looking at a tablet and saying, I want to do maybe some more productivity, I want more flexibility, so I want to do a 2-in-1 type form factor where I get the best of a tablet and a PC in one device. And we have seen increased growth in that category, and that's an exciting trend as well. And so that kind of redefines what a tablet is as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think two of the things that have to go with with tablet growth is that tablets a couple years ago, I'm gonna say this right now, they were not as well thought out as computers were, because computers have been around for 15, 20, 25 years. The desktop as we know it was pretty much solved. Tablets, they were evolving, they were they had every shape and form, they were all over the place. But I think nowadays people kind of have a few they have a lot of options, but I think tablets have pretty much been figured out. So, and once they've been figured out, the quality of them actually increases. Someone can keep a tablet now and can keep it for, 2, 3, 4 years and still use it, as a primary, piece of technology without it, showing its age like the old tablets did. So, and I mean, with the growth, unless people were going to start doubling or tripling up on tablets, there was no way to sustain that growth anyways.
That's an excellent point that he brings up, because I think people are less inclined now. They have a later tablet to go out and buy another tablet, because the next one is probably not as different from the one that they currently have. I mean, they're getting more tablet life. Would you agree with that?
I think what you see is, in some cases, you see multiple tablets per household. That clearly happens in places like the U.S. And the base usage is someone originally bought it and they did some web surfing and maybe some ebook reading, and then maybe it gets waterfalled somewhere else in the house. But one of the other things that we see in the market broadly or globally is, in many cases, people who are first-time tablet buyers, maybe they bought first and foremost on price, and they were dissatisfied on the usage. After a while, they're like, oh, this isn't exactly what I was thinking or hoping for. And in many cases, they will go back to their notebook and do more of the activities there. Or they were then looking at or considering more of, well, what do I replace with, or what do I upgrade to? And that's where we have a good focus on helping people navigate, and programs like yours help people navigate what all those choices are now, because they want maybe more out of the device than what they first bought, but now they're trying to sort through all this choice that's out there.
Right. Well, speaking of price, I mean, to continue on what we're saying here, I mean, let's face it. When tablets first came out to market, they were fairly pricey. I mean, but now we're seeing tablets, wow, as low as $99, or even lower than that now. But then the ones above that, are become more stabilized. So, do you see this as a continuing trend, that we're going to see these prices keep falling, or is it going to level out? I mean, are you going to go out and buy a $10? You buy a $10 tablet. It's like a disposable camera. You use it once and throw it away. I mean, where does it end?
Well, there's clearly, as a market has evolved and has expanded as fast as tablets have, you see that wide range of devices at a variety of price points. And in some cases, they're marketed differently. Everything from they're just kind of on the shelf to there's some features that you really need to see and touch to appreciate. So I think this speaks to the broad demand that exists for tablets. And you'll see things like, I'll mention one, a Fujitsu stylistic that is more for the mobile professional, and that's at a price range of just under $1,000. But that is for their tablets that are at that range, and things that might be a notebook replacement because of how that mobile professional is using it, or they have very specific stylistic or stylus features, or maybe it's in a hospital and it's replacing stacks and stacks of manuals and an EKG readout and a video conferencing. And then what's really also exciting is you see for consumers more and more choice and quality, like what we've been able to achieve with Asus with a product like the MemoPad that starts at as low as $129, or the Toshiba Excite that starts at $99. And that's where you see the capabilities of the market continuing to evolve, where those become higher quality devices. Very good media capabilities, but if you or styluses, you start seeing that at a range of price points and upper price points. But the quality and the capability that's coming to a $99 type device, we've put a lot of energy, as have our OEM partners, into making those very good experiences as well for those kind of media consumption usages.
Really. So again, you don't see the prices are going to go so low that we're going to have a disposable tablet, at the local drugstore or something. They're not going to go that low, are they?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we'll have a one-shot tablet that you throw in the bin at the end of entertaining your child at dinner.
Exactly.
But definitely one of the truisms of the computer industry is things get cheaper over time on one vector, and things get more capable over time, and that's why it's really important, and we spend a lot of effort, as do our partners, to keep innovating and keep bringing in new capabilities.
Right, because that $99 tablet that we're seeing, 2 or 3 or 4 years ago was top. It now has the abilities as the top of the line tablet like 4 or 5 years ago. It's
right, and then we bring in new capabilities like we've talked about with RealSense 3D that no one was thinking about or could have imagined in an affordable tablet device, 4 years ago. No one was even thinking about no one could see the capability in the market, much less do it at an approachable price.
Okay, well then, so what I'm going to ask you to do then is put on your future goggles, and look ahead a little bit down the road. Again, you're the guy from Intel, and you know all this stuff. This is wonderful, and I want you to share that with our listeners. What do you think are some of the new features, that are coming to tablets, that could change the way that people are using them today?
Yeah, so one of the ones to expand on what we've talked about with RealSense is that real-time depth sensing.
Mm-hmm.
When you can scan or interact with your environment and get more information, and I think you touched on or mentioned earlier, augmented reality. When you can look at an environment and get a better 3D representation and then get more information about it, all at the same time, all very quickly. That's a new and cool way to use a tablet. When you can take your tablet and wirelessly display and collaborate together in a business in a secure way.
Mm-hmm.
No more fumbling for all the cords to plug in. Everyone's got their own screen, but can collaborate real time together,
mm-hmm.
and do it if I'm at work and my work wants that to be very secure. That's a cool new usage. To be able to share content across devices, no matter the OS, those are things that you'll see more and more of. In addition to the tablets being more and more connected, we genuinely see the connectivity trend growing, where you want to be connected not just on Wi-Fi but on cellular networks more pervasively. and that will also change usages as you're not searching hotspot to hotspot, but you're always connected.
Yeah, you mentioned
much like you are on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned augmented reality, and that is so slick. I mean, I've started using some of that, where you're literally using the camera in the device, and you point it toward this store or a restaurant, and then you see the information about the restaurant overlaid on the actual video image that you're watching, and it tells you the hours of the restaurant, and maybe if it's what the star rating of the restaurant is, what kind of restaurant it is. I mean, we're seeing it's augmenting the reality of what you're looking at, and all the information that you would get that you would not get unless you had the tablet with you. That's
right. Yeah, and that's for when you're facing the world. Mm-hmm. I think you'll see some interesting usage models when that 3D camera is facing you, mm-hmm. and you can do your virtual green room or green screen and put yourself into different environments. So you could be, you do a video of your program, whether you want to shoot the studio or you want to shoot a beach behind you. You can start doing that.
Yes, because hey, honey, I'm at the beach and I'm going to be a little late, and then you got the ocean behind you.
Or you're at the beach and you want to look like you're in the studio.
Exactly. Really handy. Chris, we're just about out of time. Any last thoughts you want to tell our audience about the tablets and anything else that we might not have covered?
Well, first I wanted to thank you for having us on and spending the time with us. I think the most important thing is, with so much choice in the market and thinking about how you navigate that, you really want to think about how's that device going to respond to you. And we feel that, much like we've done for years and years in the notebook and desktop space, the Intel quality, the Intel performance will make a difference to your tablet experience. We've done a lot of innovations that we're started talking about. You'll see a lot more coming, but also new things like 2-in-1s, which kind of changes how people approach tablets as well. Those are all things that have come with Intel and with our partners that we're really excited to see in the market, and we're hoping that you and your listeners are going to come to enjoy here in the next couple months.
Excellent. And again, go to our show notes page at computeramerica.com. You'll see the Intel website. It'll take you to there, and you can click on the tablets and see all the different tablets for which Intel makes processors that go inside of those amazing little devices. Chris, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight on Computer America. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can have you back again sometime.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Craig, and thank you, Ben.
Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Yes, absolutely. And take care. Have a good evening, Chris.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So there you go.
I have one thing to say.
Yes. What is that?
Okay. You guys were laughing about the fact that, tablets will never be disposable.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Okay.
Books were invented about 6, 7, 800, in China. Okay.
Years.
Only for.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Only for the nobility, higher class, people with money, people who were privileged had books.
Okay.
And then, eventually, about 1,000 years later, printing press coming down the line, serfs got printable moving text, and fast forward a little bit more, fast forward, newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
How throwaway are newspapers?
Well, you throw them away all the time. You
find them in these little plastic boxes. They have stupid information that no one wants to read about, and yet, and then you pick them up for free, and then you can throw them away, and you don't even think about it.
No, you wouldn't.
The future will hold tablets in the same regard.
Really? That's Ben's
prediction? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it only took them about 1,400 years, so.
All right. Well,
in 1,400 years, tablets will be disposable.
Well, or you can actually rip them up and throw them away. All right. We got computer and technology news coming up next in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman.
Woo-hoo!
The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world. and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
So, just they have, the disposable cameras. You can walk into a store and they'll have disposable tablets, and you'll just grab one and use it for whatever, and then you just crumple it up like a piece of paper and throw it away when you're done.
Yep, that's what I think so.
It'll all be in the cloud, right? It'll just do everything you want, and it'll save it, so when you get home, you can...
do you ever watch the shows that come on the Science Channel, like Science Channel, Discovery, what have you, where they talk about future technology? Like, they have stuff that's in R&D but not anywhere near actual production?
Mm-hmm, yes.
They had one where they had, like, little... I won't use the word diodes. It was just like, little light-emitting diodes, and they were so small, like, he held up a handful of it, and it looked like dust. And then when you spread it out on, like, a flat surface, like a table or something, they actually talked to each other, and they could display an image just like a TV screen. Now, of course, you'd get, like, a better, picture if you had more dust, because, then you have more, more light-emitting diodes.
Okay.
But just future technology. We're talking about how disposable we're going to consider technology. It's a handful of dust that you can spread out on a surface, and it's going to act like a TV screen. But but in the end, it's just dust. You can blow it away, wipe it off, and throw it away.
That's kind of slick.
Yeah, and technology right now. If you said to someone, "Hey, that iPad," just check it out the window. You can go get another one later. It's, technology isn't yet at the throwaway point, although, just like you said with the digital cameras that you can get at, the drugstore, what have you, those are kind of disposable. But technology will get more and more disposable. And admittedly, we'll probably recycle more. We're not just throwing away hunks of metal. But, technology will get to the point where it's just disposable.
Well, again, thanks for Intel for being with us in the first hour. And again, you can listen to any of our past shows right here at computeramerica.com. Just go to our website, and you can go to our video archives if you want to watch the archive, or you can just go to the archive, the audio archives as well. They're all up at computeramerica.com, and you can check them out for yourself. And we keep them up there basically forever, so they're always available. So you can listen to them at your leisure. So now we're in hour 2 here of the program, and again, every time Intel comes on here, they just have some very interesting things to talk about. And I was looking at their tablets page, and some of those tablets look absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I would even consider getting one.
I'm surprised that, like, a couple years ago, they had the market split up into different screen sizes. Like you had your 7-inch, they even had like some like sub 7-inch, 7 to 9-inch, and then 9 to 13-inch or whatever the market was split up a couple years ago. Nowadays, it's apparently split up into pure tablets, 2-in-1s, and all-in-ones.
Yeah, that seems to be a trend. I think with the Surface, I think that kind of started the all-in-ones. With the little folding keyboard. Came out, although Apple now has that too, but
actually, I think the Surface might qualify as the 2-in-1. The all-in-one, I'm talking about, like one that can actually replace your desktop. Like just like your pure tablets are just they're tablets onto themselves, and then the 2-in-1s can replace like a laptop and a tablet, and then the all-in-ones replace everything.
Well, I think the all-in-one basically is like the iMac. It's where it's the computer. Yeah. Everything is in the one big screen, but you wouldn't want to carry that around with you,
Well, it's an all-in-one tablet, so you theoretically could.
Well, yeah, if it's an all-in-one tablet, yeah, it's not all-in-one computer.
Because they're coming out with like the 27-inch all-in-one tablets.
Yes, yeah.
Of course they're expensive, but I mean they're there.
Yeah, and people can take them into the living room and make them into a table. You'll use them as a table surface and play with them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, there's a lot of diversity in these products, and obviously, if you're in the market, you want to make sure and check out all of them that are available, and that's what we're here for. We talk about all that. We have, as I mentioned, we have Lenovo is going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. let's see. Wait, what do we have? I can actually just look and see when that's going to happen. I think they're going to be here in September. Lenovo's going to be here. Nope. I thought it's here. They've moved them again. They keep moving them, but they will definitely be here. Oh, Lenovo's going to be on the 26th of this month, next week, Tuesday. Lenovo's going to be here. So just stay tuned to the Computer America show, and we bring the best information to you here on the program.
We try to get you guests that you are seeing in your everyday lives.
That's right. All right, so I think it's time to do some computer news. All right.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah. Well, yeah. that's what we're set up for.
Okay.
Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, you heard me. Everything at slimwareutilities.com, completely free. All the utilities, even their backup software, their Rec Image backup software, it's all free. It's not crippled. It's not, you can only use it for a short time and then you have to pay them. It's not a freemium model. It's none of that. Everything, slimwareutilities.com, completely free. And we invite you to go to the website, slimwareutilities.com, download all of them. Make sure you have them. Even if you don't use all of them, just have them in your toolbox, because sooner or later you're going to need something that Slimware Utilities can do for you. You'll have it. You'll use it to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. You're going to be very happy that you had it, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. So in this first story...
oh, wait, no. Actually, I'd like to do that one.
What one?
The first story.
Oh, I'm not doing the first one. I took it out of order. So.
Oh, okay, fine
then. Do you mess with Vine? Do you like Vine?
A growing trend isn't. I mean, Vines are, of course, they're everywhere. But a growing trend is to actually collect Vines, like little 6 to 7 second videos, and compile them into YouTube videos. And then, those YouTube videos are usually about 7, 8, 10 minutes long. Yeah. They get tens of millions of views each. So like, even if Vines themselves weren't that popular, they get compiled into videos that again get viewed tens of millions of times. So yes, they're Vines are popular.
Well, according to this article from Wired magazine, Vine grows up and it lets you edit and upload existing video. In other words, the 6-second looping video sharing service, Vine, announced several new tools today designed to make it easier to shoot and edit videos from your phone. It also handed out some nice round numbers that don't reveal much about how many people are shooting Vines, but certainly indicate lots of people are watching them. Most importantly, it will now let you upload the video. That's right. So there are really two parts to what Vine is announcing today. The new tools, which really add a level of robustness to the app it didn't previously have, but aren't revolutionary, and the viewership numbers, which it largely glosses over, but do demonstrate a robust audience. Take them together, and it seems like the upstart little app has suddenly grown up into a mature video sharing platform. All with 6 seconds, huh? The biggest change is that people can now dip into their camera rolls and use existing videos they've recorded for Vines. Previously, you had to shoot video in-app. This means that if you got, say, a 2-minute video of your dog burping in slow motion, you can now suck up a 6-second highlight reel from that and use it in a new Vine. That's very cool, because before you had to shoot it live and that was it. You didn't have any, and you were stuck with it. So now you can take a more casual video then, and then use the editor to extract the portions of that into and make your own Vine, 6-second Vine.
That's not uncommon. I mean, they were doing that before for, the last couple months, but I guess they're just, now getting around to announcing it, because I've actually seen a couple of those, and those are actually some of the funniest, is when you get to, get like the short little shots.
Yeah, but I think what you had to use other tools to do that.
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
you're doing
that's
it from within. Yeah, but now you can do it all from within Vine, the Vine app, which is nice. You
So
know,
yeah, so that process isn't new. I guess it's just new that
you can do it from
you know
within.
you can do it in app.
Exactly. Now they actually have other tools too that include a focus lock feature for the front facing. That's for the selfie camera, in other words. Okay. Editing features like a duplicating button that lets you repeat a shot, a mute button to wipe out audio, and a torch mode, which turns on your phone's flash so you can shoot video in the dark. It's rolling out the new Vine for iOS today, and Android is coming shortly thereafter, according to the company. Then there are the numbers. Vine says that more than 100 million people watch Vines every month, and that Vine loops play more than 1 billion times every day. Wow, 1 billion times a day. That former number is a Super Bowl audience size, even if it's not all viewing at once, okay? And the latter numbers means Vine is playing something like 190 years of video a day. 190 years of video every single day. That's what it's playing. Together, they speak to how many places people are watching on the web, embedded in web pages, in app, on Facebook, and other places. Now, this doesn't even count things like the best of Vine compilations that are all over YouTube. It was clear from the get-go that Vine was going to be pretty big, but still, those numbers are surprisingly big. Vine has already generated its own culture with its own memes and hits and even stars. It is increasingly becoming a way for people to communicate with the world about things that are important to the culture at large. Now Vine is signaling that it's leveling up, and it demands to be taken seriously. Okay, it has tools to make anyone an on-the-go auteur and a big audience that it wants people to know about. The question is, if Vine manages to grow into a mainstream tool that's just not watched but also used by millions of people, can it still keep that same creative culture? Can it be both hip and popular? That seems to be the new goal. It will be interesting to see if it can pull it off. There you go. I think so. The new Vine.
See, but the problem is websites are falling in and out of favor faster than ever.
Yeah.
You know, there was a story that I didn't include with all these, but you know, just the quick of it is that in 2013, 13 to 17-year-olds, you know, and that's the market that Facebook really wants to capture because I mean, you know, get them young, get them for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, 13 to 17-year-olds, they lost 25% of them.
To what? 35-year-olds?
No, they didn't grow. I mean, you know, some of them probably aged out of that range, but I mean, they deactivated their account.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, you know,
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? I mean, stuff, you know, trendy stuff loses its trend.
And something new has to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for social media, Pinterest and Imgur and you know things like that, people are getting their social outlets in other places. You know, before it was a simple, you know, Facebook overtook MySpace, and now you're actually seeing some more fragmentation. But Facebook is actually losing the younger crowd at a much faster rate than than it's gaining it.
Hmm. Okay.
So I mean, you know, good on Vine. They have to change to stay interesting. And it's a feature that is obviously being used, so you know that's not a bad idea to put it in app.
Mm-hmm.
But these websites, they fall out of favor quick.
Yeah.
So
the video falls out of favor. Okay.
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah.
You know, someone's gonna come up with a 2-second video app, and it's gonna be all the rage. You can't fight it.
Yeah.
So you know, there are a couple good stories recommended by our chat room, which we'll get to in a second.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I think that Craig will really like himself, but
the butter knife one.
The butter knife one.
Okay.
But I actually want to get this one out of the way real quick, and this is from Maxim PC Paul Lilly, and this news article should go under the title of "Things No One Knew, but at the same time are not surprised about."
Okay.
So that's the header for this one. No one's surprised. The DFC intelligence, nearly all PC game sales are digital downloads.
No.
I know. Just no one put it in actual terms.
No.
So physical media in the PC gaming sector is nearly dead. D-E-A-D.
So when you walk into Walmart and they have this huge video games sale and everything, you're saying that's all going to go...
The funny thing is, most of those, and again, this is focusing on PC game.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Most of the games that you see in Walmart nowadays, the ones behind the sliding glass cases, are for the Nintendo DS, for the Wii, for the PlayStation, for the Xbox.
Okay.
Those are the ones that are locked behind the case, and you have to go get someone to help you take one out.
That's true.
PC games, I remember going back in the day to Costco and, right in front of the optometrist, because we're nerdy young kids and we have glasses, were all the video games in all their boxes. You could find your Command & Conquer, you could find your Doom, you could find your Quake. They were all of the computer games were lined up in boxes. But you go into anywhere nowadays, you are hard-pressed to find a PC game box, like anywhere. And it kind of just happened overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So, the article, physical media for the PC gaming sector nearly dead. Think for a moment about the past 10 PC games you purchased. If the statistics presented by analyst DFC Intelligence are correct, then at least 9 of those games were digitally downloaded as opposed to physical copies. Long gone are the days when you'd walk into software, etc., and emerge with a bag full of game box containing floppy disk and later CDs. According to DFI Intelligence, 92% of all PC game sales around the world in 2013 were digital.
Why should we be so surprised? I bet you if you took those same numbers and
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When was the last time you walked into a record store and bought a record? I mean, everything is digital download, so this shouldn't become as a surprise to anybody.
I wish that wasn't. Yeah, I wish that was a good analogy, Craig. But unfortunately for you, vinyl record sales are actually on the increase for the past 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, they are. I think they actually overtook CDs.
When was the last time you walked into a record store to buy a song? Come on.
You asked me that question, and I could say never. But you ask Aaron that, and he can tell you exactly when it happened.
Aaron is eclectic. He likes to collect old albums.
And luckily, vinyl has hit that point where it's I don't think he's an audiophile by any stretch of the imagination, but he likes having the vinyl CD or I'm sorry, the vinyl record.
But the titles that he's buying are they're older records it's music from the 80s.
Some of them are older. I remember him buying the newest record from AWOL Nation that actually just came out, and their vinyl sales actually overtook their CD sales.
Wow. Okay.
But of course, they were all trumped. They were trounced. Really is the word by digital sales of music.
Okay. All right.
But so 92% of all PC game sales, by the way, not Xbox or PlayStation, around the world were digital. Okay. So the DFC Intelligence provided that tidbit to PCR, though it didn't say what the outlook for 2014 looks like. However, there's no reason to believe the trend is reversing. Especially if you walked into a GameStop lately, the PC section has been reduced in most stores to a sad little rack that would normally hold a few accessories.
A sad little rack.
It really has come to that point because, even though no one asked for it and no one really paid attention, PC games, with the spread of Origin, which is EA's digital distribution platform, Steam, and, digital download just being so much easier. Why would you have a box somewhere when you can just download it online, whenever you needed it? You don't have to worry about the box set.
Well, you do that yourself. I remember years ago you'd buy World of Warcraft and it was in the box and it had all the stuff in it.
Not the best one because I'll still go and buy the boxes just because World of Warcraft is lovely. Mm-hmm. But I get what you're saying. It's it's harder. It really is harder to go out and buy and pay the same price, and sometimes even pay more for a physical copy than it is to buy a cheaper digital copy.
And this digital copies usually are less expensive, aren't they? Because they don't have to go through all the paper and the boxing.
See, digital copies have the benefit of being sold through many, many vendors. Like, you can, like, when they sell the physical copies, those are sold through so-and-so, and it's set by the price by, whoever is shipping out the physical copies. The digital copies, you can get, you can get like Steam sales, where on Steam they'll put them on sale for 20% off, 25% off. You can go to Amazon and you can buy it for, whatever reduced price. Digital copies are so much easier to put on sale, and generally they are put on sale.
Doesn't Steam have some sort of special? I remember you telling me, that it was like for like $20, or $10.
The Steam summer sale, generally they will put games on sale for up to 90 to 95 to 99% off.
Wow.
And that's something you're not going to see with physical anywhere.
No, never.
except maybe like a yard sale.
Yeah, and even then you're hard pressed. The gas that you have to spend to go out to get.
No, it completely offsets it.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's about all we're gonna get out of this little article right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can leave that with the rise of digital distribution platforms, and the fact that most computer games, this isn't something to gloss over either. Most computer games that are being sold nowadays, they aren't from big retailers. They're little indie Kickstarter, little games that people have, that have taken off and gotten crowdsourced and crowdfunded. And those guys, they're definitely not going to print out a CD and ship it to, where have you. They're just going to make it available for online download. So, PC games, again, to go way back to the beginning, something that we didn't hear, but honestly, we're not surprised.
Okay. This story again from Paul Lilly, Maximum PC. Barnes & Noble, still a popular bookstore. I know you went there just not too long ago. You and Aaron. Barnes & Noble.
It's a lovely place.
Yeah. Rolls out a Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook for $179. Welcome back to the tablet scene, Barnes & Noble. After failing to compete in sales with the likes of Amazon and its Kindle Fire line, Barnes & Noble is officially invested in tablets again with the introduction of the new Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook. The Galaxy Tab 4 Nook is essentially a combination of the Android-based Nook platform baked into the Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 hardware and billed as the first ever full-featured Android slate. Okay. The device measures a little under 7.5 by 4.25, about 3.5 inches deep, 0.35 inches deep, and weighs 9.74 ounces. It has a 7-inch display with a 1280 by 800 resolution, 1.2 gig quad processor, 1.5 gigs of memory, 8 gigs of onboard storage, and you can expand that by a micro USB card slot. It's got 802.11n Wi-Fi. It's got a micro USB 2.0 port. It's got a 3.5 millimeter headset jack. It's got a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, a 3 megapixel rear-facing camera, GPS, and Android 4.4 KitKat. Nice. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook is the most advanced Nook ever, delivering the great Nook experience our customers have come to love with the high-performance tablet feature they've asked for, and this was said by the Chief Executive Officer of Barnes & Noble. We invite reading and entertainment fans to visit their local Barnes & Noble store to experience the new Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook, and once they do, we're certain they will make this innovation device part of their daily routine. Okay, he's very confident about it. Barnes & Noble says the Nook is geared towards reading, and to get users started, it comes bundled with $200 of free Nook reading and entertainment content, including 3 best-selling ebooks, Freakonomics, The Wanderer, and I Am Number 4. You can. Wasn't that a movie? I saw that. It was a sci-fi movie.
I Am Number 4?
Yeah, I Am Number 4. Yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah, that was a movie.
Yeah.
It was about superpowers.
Yes, exactly. Now, you can grab an ad-free ad-free Galaxy Tab 4 Nook right away for $179 after a $20 instant rebate. The device is available black and white color, available black and white color options. You get it in black and in white. Okay, that's it. So there it is. So it's the fastest Nook ever, and it's really it's a Samsung Galaxy Tab 4.
But I can't really say anything about Nook. They came out as Kindle competitors, and I think Kindle hit Kindle Gem. Yeah. Okay. I think Kindle really hit it well with their low price, easy to use, high battery life Kindle, whereas Nook always seemed to be that little bit of e-reader plus tablet.
Well, you remember everything that Amazon sells, the Kindle, all that, is just basically another portal into the Amazon world so they can sell you Amazon stuff.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to suck you in.
And they make it cheaper and lighter and smaller, I guess maybe they could. Or thinner, at least.
Although kind of sad that they had to say, ad-free, because shouldn't all tablets be ad-free?
You would think so, but they're not.
No, they're not. Mm-hmm. Okay, next story. We have just enough time, I think, before the commercial break to do this. This one is about butter. Yes, you heard me correct.
Yeah, he's going to do the butter now.
Butter.
Okay.
It is amazing. Now, if you've ever dined with Craig Crossman, you will know, first of all, there is a splash zone. It is about 3 feet in all directions of where he is sitting. The second thing is that condiments must be in fully stocked and probably doubly stocked supply at all times around him.
Uh-huh.
This includes butter. And if you try to take the butter, he will stab you with a butter knife to keep you from getting to his butter.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, what we're often left with after Craig has had his way with the butter is generally an unusable hunk of, because Craig likes his butter at room temperature.
Would you pass the butter, please?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, room temperature. And when that happens, you get these nasty, crumble bits of butter at the end, because you slice it off vertically, mm-hmm. Along the hunk of butter.
Okay.
Now, this is where one gentleman saw an opportunity to make something that we all didn't know we needed until now. Mm-hmm. And this is a butter knife that he calls the, let me get the correct name here, the Stupendous Splendiferous Butter Up.
Okay.
They have prices starting at about $15 for a butter knife, and this is a butter knife that has, of course, the serrated edge that you expect from a butter knife, but on the opposite side, there are little holes. But Ben, what are the little holes for? Oh, I'll tell you. The little holes are for butter, and you keep your butter in the fridge, and instead of slicing off a bit, from the end and making it shorter and shorter and shorter, the little holes on one side actually grate along the top, and you get these cool-looking ribbons of butter, that build up on the knife.
Uh-huh.
So this lets you keep your butter at, at whatever cold temperature you like, and yet still, because of the way it, kind of shreds it, think cheese grater with cheese, makes it spreadable even at cold temperatures.
Yeah. They actually have a little video, a little animated GIF, so you can see it. Actually, he's scraping the knife along the top of the butter stick, and it's making these little strings of butter coming out.
Not unlike spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and of course, it looks like he has, he's been through a number of prototypes, but this is pretty much what he's ended up with, which is a butter knife that can help you spread butter that is fresh from the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. So, can you buy this thing yet, or is it? It's
a Kickstarter. And the Kickstarter will end September 2nd, so it has 12 days to go. It's only raised $170,000.
Yeah.
So,
well,
no chance of this thing getting supported, but it's a cool idea for something you didn't know was wrong.
Well, you better butter up if you want to get this knife, so head over to the Kickstarter project. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Another News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hello, friends of exercise. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the Withings Pulse O2. We talked earlier about the Withings blood pressure monitor and the app on either iOS or Android 4 or later devices. The same app also collects information from their Pulse O2 product. When we got it, it looked like a lot of pieces just to measure pulse rate and blood oxygen level, but that quickly sorted out. The main piece, the active module, comes with a strap for wearing on your wrist, a clip for wearing on your clothes, and a charging cable, so the collection is more about adding dexterity than adding complexity. The misleading first impression continued with the name, but the happy result is that there's even more here than the name implies, starting with a pedometer. The module's face displays a lot of interesting data that the app can record, but we're still leaving out a level of usefulness. If your smartphone is with you as you work out, it also tracks running, elevation, distance, and calories. Bottom line, if you're somebody who, when you burn, yearn for more data, the Withings Pulse O2 activity tracker is no slacker. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour. Thank you, Mr. Marty Winston, for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are doing computer and technology news, and we just finished up a story about the stupendous, splendiferous butter knife. Check it out. It's on Kickstarter, still available. As to when that will actually be shipped, that's between you and your Kickstarter. But I mean, again, it's the answer to a problem you didn't know you had.
Okay. Here's a controversial story that we've been following, and evidently we're continuing to follow it. This is from GigaOM. Netflix is now paying Time Warner Cable for direct access and faster streams. Evidently, Time Warner Cable signed a direct interconnection deal with Netflix, making it the fourth of the big 4 U.S. ISPs to sign paid peering agreements with the streaming video provider. Presumably, the agreement should improve the Netflix viewing experience of Time Warner Cable's broadband subscribers who also like to tune into Netflix fare. Time Warner confirmed The deal happened in June, and the implementation has been rolling out this month. The interconnection doesn't come as a huge surprise, given that Netflix has signed agreements with Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T in the last few months after fighting with the providers directly and through its transit providers Level 3 and Cogent. That fighting, unfortunately, left consumers caught in the middle between Netflix and ISPs as the quality of the video streams suffered, and both Netflix and ISPs blamed each other. While Netflix has signed these paid peering agreements with ISPs, it is still arguing before the FCC and in the court of public opinion that these agreements violate the spirit of network neutrality. Netflix originally tried to address peering issues by offering ISPs access to its own content delivery network called OpenConnect. It signed deals with some U.S.-based and a number of international ISPs that led to Netflix deploying caching boxes inside the ISP's networks. But the major U.S. ISPs argued that Netflix was avoiding paying for the burden of its traffic put on their networks, and they said that they didn't want to support different servers for every different internet service on the market, despite already hosting servers for sites like Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft in many cases.
You mean they just don't want to do it for Netflix, but they do it for any other big website?
Yeah, really. However, apparently Apple, as it is building out its own content delivery network, has signed paid peering agreements with ISPs, perhaps making a shift in how the big content companies and ISPs will be brokering traffic going forward. Meanwhile, the FCC is gathering data on these deals, so we may see them quietly eliminated, continue as before, but now with tacit FCC approval, or perhaps regulated, depending upon what it discovers. The author of this story is just eager to see the data about end-to-end broadband quality make its way to the consumer. Because over-the-top services are so fragmented, there are a lot of things that could go wrong. It would be nice to get an understanding of what's happening between my television and the Netflix server. You know. By the way, he updated this argument. He says, I removed the trace route because it was truncated. I'll replace it with a complete one when I get one showing the direct hops again. But this is net neutrality, so we keep covering this, you know.
Not so, it's a victim of a non-neutral net.
Yes.
And,
this isn't helping it.
It is and it isn't. I mean, if the FCC kind of look at the deals that they're having to make, you know, if the FCC finds that the extra payments that Netflix has to pay, you know, to these just to get their content to their users, you know, if they find that to be in some kind of conflict, that is, you know, obviously going to be a win eventually, because, you know, they're going to see that as evidence, they're going to win, and these kind of deals won't be brokered anymore. Because, you know, the whole big thing was, you know, Netflix isn't pushing all of this content onto these, onto AT&T, Time Warner, whatever. Like, it's not like Netflix is saying, okay, guys, we're going to push out 1 billion hours of video onto your networks. You have to find a way to deal with this. You know, it's not that Netflix was pushing it out. It's that the people who were already paying AT&T, Time Warner, Verizon, all these people, the people who were already paying these companies were asking for all the Netflix video that was being downloaded. So, you know, to make Netflix pay because their service is popular, you know, is that right? No, I don't think it is. And a lot of people would agree with you that it's not right. But, you know, if you know, sad to say, but these ISPs, it doesn't take much for people to jump on the bandwagon of hating them. So when they're trying to double dip, you know, making their customers pay to, you know, get their service, and then making the content providers pay, you know, for the users to actually get their service, you know, that's going to rub almost everyone in that equation the wrong way. Yeah. But as it stands right now, they're making more money, and I'm sure everyone that is not paying more money is happy about it.
Yeah. It doesn't. You know, it's unfortunate because it's not necessarily. I mean, it's what Netflix is doing. I mean, if Netflix was just an online shopping, you know, thing, it would be one thing. But the fact what it's doing is pushing video. I mean, that's what's eating up all the bandwidth. You know, if Netflix wasn't doing that, then this would be a non-issue.
But then again, it's not eating up all the bandwidth. It's just, you know, people aren't streaming Netflix and then they're going out and streaming video games and doing all that kind of thing. I mean, sure, you could do those multiple things at once, but the majority of people out there, they aren't using their internet at the full capacity, you know, that they're paying for. They're just trying to stream 1.5 to 3 megabits a second video from Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Well.
It's not that big of a load considering that everyone is paying so much money for a service that they should be, you know, kind of keeping their end of the bargain up.
Hey, speaking of broadband and everything, I understand that you got a boost on your Uverse.
I did, and yeah, it's bad segue, Craig. I'm going to say that right now. You know, from going to bashing the ISPs to start talking about the one that I'm using currently. Hopefully they don't know where I live, and I don't want to say anything right now about them, but the process was not painless, and it was much overdue.
Okay. But I'm
going to leave it at that before I start bad-mouthing, you know, who, instead of biting the hand that feeds me, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, they might truncate your broadband service.
They'll be like, oh, did you hear that? The little upstart over there on Computer America, Ben, you know, we know exactly which switch to flip over there. And there goes my internet.
And you're in dial-up now, exactly.
It's like, oh, your packet loss just went from 100 up to, you know, 10,000. Good luck with that latency. Yeah, so yeah, no, don't bite the hand that feeds you. But I'm not going to say it's a shakedown, but I'm not going to not say it's a shakedown.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so computer and technology news. How about this one? This may sound a little creepy to people, but again, this involves Netflix. And it also involves the Oculus Rift. And we've talked a lot about the Oculus Rift. We've had many, many guests who are actually developing equipment that will be used in conjunction with the Oculus Rift to provide that next level virtual experience.
The Prio VR was one of them. They were on last night.
We just had those on last night, and they provided the full body. You know, they provided the body where the Oculus Rift provides the eyes. So, you know, this one from Gadget, and sure, we know the Oculus VR Chief Technology Officer John Carmack likes watching movies on the Rift headset from his bed when he's sick. But what if you'd rather catch up on Orange is the New Black instead? A recent hackathon at Netflix produced something that could make that possible. The custom UI, dubbed Oculix, that's a little awkward to say, but you know, obviously it's Oculus and Netflix put together, shows off what it'd be like to navigate the interface in a virtual space, replete with gesture control. It looks pretty neat, if you ask us. What with its floating tiles and text descriptions and all that. Sadly, unlike the homebrew Oculus apps that we're used to, whether or not the greater community will get to give this a shot is up in the air. As is typical with Netflix Hack Day projects, the outfit is making no promises of Oculus ever seeing the light of day. But I mean, there's a video here.
Yeah, and you point and you just push the one that you want, and that's it.
Imagine putting on your Oculus Rift. You know, they cover your eyes completely, so all you see is, you know, whatever is projected to you. And, you know, you could look around everywhere, left, right, up, down, turn around, you could see more. And and all along it, it's just a black room, and it would be all of your title cards. Like if you ever surf Netflix, you see title cards. It would be all of those lining all the walls, and then you could just, you know, whatever interface with a mouse or whatever kind of gesture control, you could choose by, you know, pressing that one, and then it would, you know, and then the room would go dark. The one that you selected would, you know, fill your entire vision, and there you go. You're watching your video.
You know, some of the comments here, one guy says that this is already possible with the Oculus Rift using something called Virtual Desktop. While it isn't the custom interface, it still allows you to watch whatever's on your computer screen, including Netflix, Hulu, DVDs, and whatever games you have. So you know.
So but you know, the hackathon is to for people to show what they can do with the Oculus.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
So to say that it's already possible, obviously they just did it in the article. So.
Okay. Well. Oh. Got somebody new in the chat room welcoming him.
Oh, cool. So yay, virtual reality! Get here faster. We keep hearing about you, but we never see you.
Well, that's because it's virtual. It's almost here. Yes, Tech Hive story. Samsung is going to load new smart TVs with games and Skype group calls right on the TV. Samsung will demonstrate new games and Skype group calls for its smart TVs at next month's IFA trade show in Berlin. Manufacturers have, for the last couple of years, struggled to convince consumers to upgrade their TVs. Samsung, LG, and Sony are betting that a growing range of applications will boost sales coupled with 4K resolution. Samsung is adding games such as Need for Speed, Most Wanted, Real Football 2014, and Golf Star to its lineup. Users will be able to play with Samsung's remote smart control, the company's dedicated gamepad, as well as some Galaxy smartphones and tablets. It isn't just the TV manufacturers that are hoping games will attract consumers. With Amazon, when Amazon launched the Fire TV box earlier this year, gaming was a key component of the product. The same goes for Google's upcoming Android TV platform. Let's face it, games are here to stay. Samsung is trying to leverage gaming's popularity on smartphones and tablets, and not just to make the TVs more attractive. By offering games in mobile devices and TVs, Samsung hopes to convince consumers to buy both types of devices from it. An important part of this push is also to make it easy for developers to convert their mobile games to run on TVs. For example, this weekend, Amazon is hosting an event with Seattle indie game incubator House of Games. It's billed as a great opportunity, that's in quotes, for developers to get their hands on all of Amazon's devices and the services it offers to game developers. At IFA, Samsung will also demonstrate a new Skype app with group and full HD video calls. The Skype app and the new games will be available to download for free globally, including Europe, South Korea, and the US, though the games panel on Samsung's TV, the company said, without offering any details on the time it will be there. Okay. So you think this makes TVs more attractive when you can do all your Skype calls and play games right on the TV?
Games have never been a really big draw for televisions or for smart TVs, but I think the more apps and features that you kind of load in there, group calls and things like that, are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, AT&T must be quaking in its digital boots. I mean, they is that landlines are just falling away. People are less and less landlines.
Fun fact: did you know that what is it? Time Warner, I think. They still get like 35% of their profits are still from people who use dial-up.
It's got to be in rural areas or someplace where
rural areas, and people who I assume have no other choice or are unfortunately, sorry to play off the cliches, too old to really know the deal that broadband is.
Yeah, I guess.
So.
Oh, my God.
Not going away anytime soon. Not if it's making so much money.
Nope, I guess not.
Okay, I have this article here. Popular Science, my favorite. This one is about how Google protects its undersea fiber optic cables from sharks.
Sharks?
Sharks, I know. They just had Shark Week, which was tragic in its own right. Did you happen to catch Shark Week?
No, I did not.
It's unfortunately devolved, something like that, to shark dramas and about how dangerous sharks are and people who get attacked by sharks and how they survive and their story. And whereas back in the day it was shark documentaries, how cool and awesome sharks are, and now it's like reality TV plus sharks. But that's a whole other story. This one is about sharks and these underwater cables. And make sure everyone knows this, that to connect networks cross-continent, to get from North Africa to Europe, to get from North America to Europe, to get South America to North America.
Mm-hmm.
They run these cables
Mm-hmm.
that are just underwater and just lying there, and they transmit all the data from one continent to another.
They're not buried; they're above the ground, evidently.
Yeah, and it's people think, oh no, they're going through satellites and they're pinging and they're back and they're forth. No, they're just like, when you're at home and you have that surround sound system and you have that cord laying across the middle of your floor. That's pretty much what's going on, like with the whole world and their internet.
But this is not the old-fashioned coaxial copper wires. We're talking about fiber optic cables, right?
Yep. It's really big, really thick. Where you think fiber optic and you're thinking these little strands, these are big. Like half-foot thick.
Yeah, exactly.
They can transmit a lot of data. So shark bites are a real threat to undersea fiber optic cables.
Mm-hmm.
No, really, Google actually goes so far as to wrap its wires in a Kevlar-like material to prevent damage from sharks. A company spokesperson recently disclosed.
Mm-hmm. Why?
As you can see in the video, and they have a video here that's titled Shark Attack on Subcable, the animals have been known to bite cables.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, sharks seem to like fiber optic cables more than the old-fashioned coaxial copper wires, though it's unclear why. Quote, sharks have shown an inexplicable taste for the new fiber optic cables that have been strung along the ocean floor, end quote, the New York Times wrote in 1987. Almost 30 years ago. So this is not new.
No.
It may be because sharks are encouraged by the electromagnetic field from a suspended cable strumming currents, and said that the ever-sexy International Cable Protection Committee sharks can sense electromagnetic fields, so it's possible that the cables alarm or interest them enough to take a chomp. Yeah, so they have not only sharks but also barracudas and other biting predators. They've been known for a long time to go up to these and sense them in the water just because of the electromagnetic fields, and they bite them and they break them.
Wow.
Which of course leads to companies such as Google to go out and restring their fibers, or to restring their cables. Sharks may also bite the cable simply because they're curious. If you had just a piece of plastic out there shaped like a cable, there's a good chance they'd bite that too. Call me a crank, and again, this is by the author. Call me a crank, but it's somewhat comforting to me that in our modern age, where people are quote living in the future, and communications can zip back and forth at the speed of light, that cables which allow this to happen are still at risk from an ancient predator. Where's your homework, Doug? Oh, sorry, a shark bit an undersea cable while I was emailing it to myself, so I don't have it.
The old shark biting the cable excuse. Exactly.
The teachers never bite anymore.
No, they don't bite it. Exactly. Well, did you hear about what happened at the UPS? UPS says malware attack compromised customers' info at 51 of its stores. So if you've done any business with UPS recently, you better check out the company's website. Some of its stores may have leaked your personal data. After receiving a security advisory from the U.S. government, UPS discovered that 51 of their stores were infected with malware, potentially compromising customer data for more than 105,000 transactions. UPS has already removed the offending software, of course, but the damage may already have been done. Now the company is trying to make good. Customers affected by the data breach are eligible for free identity protection and credit card monitoring services, unfortunately. UPS isn't offering the services to customers directly. Instead, it's posting a list of impacted locations on its website and asking customers to check themselves. The free ProAction services are a nice gesture, but it's not the best outreach for customers that don't keep up with UPS news. Worried you're affected? Check out the list on the link that they give in this story. Okay. And I'm going to check that myself. I'm going to see if it's in our area. See if we've roots. Okay.
No matter how big a company is, they're not immune to hacking. In fact,
No.
they're probably more susceptible.
Now, in Florida, it's in Tallahassee, so that won't affect you. And let me see in the Carolinas here. Nope, nothing in our city here either. So we're okay.
Again, it's 51 stores out of the possible. I think they have like 17,000 locations.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Better luck winning the lottery, or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about it, but if you are worried about it, then it sounds like Craig found a resource to check in your area.
It's at the UPS.com website. There's a link there. It'll take you. You can see if your town was subjected to that.
Oh, this one was crazy. I didn't even know this could happen.
What?
Okay, we have just enough time. I'm going to do this one real quick. This is about the untold story of the largest solar thermal power plant.
I knew it.
Is considering thousands of local birds. Oh my God, I didn't know about this. A common sight in the sky above the world's largest solar thermal power plant is a streamer, a small plume of smoke that occurs without warning. Closer inspection, however, reveals that the source of the smoke is a bird that has inadvertently strayed into the white-hot heat above the plant's many reflecting mirrors.
Huh.
Because the Bright Source Energy plant in California uses a supercritical steam rather than the photovoltaic energy, the sun's heat is reflected off more than 300,000 mirrors to a single point.
Yeah.
Which is used to drive a steam turbine. The downside of that, of course, is that it's lethal for any wildlife that strays into the picture. A problem that was recognized well before the facility opened, but now the government has gotten involved. Government wildlife inspectors believe that that insects are drawn to the high reflective mirrors, which in turn lures local birds to their doom. Bright Source feels that the issue has been overblown, claiming that only 1,000 living creatures will die in a year, but that the Center for Biological Diversity believes the actual figure is closer to 28,000. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is pushing for more information and an accurate calculation on the deaths before California grants the company any more permits for solar plants. That's because the next plant facility, close to the California-Arizona border, is directly beneath a flight path used by rare birds like the golden eagle and the peregrine falcon. Those are birds you do not want getting zapped.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna make them put like a cage or surrounding the whole thing.
That's not the problem though. It's all those mirrors reflecting the sunlight into one point.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, Craig, have you seen the size of this thing? It's the world's largest solar thermal power plant. There's no putting a cage over this.
Yeah.
And plus, if you did, then you would reduce the power plant's effectiveness by casting shadows.
You have to put a force field over it then.
Okay, so you got to put a force field over it. But right now, birds are just randomly straying into a, what can be described as a magnifying glass effect on the sun.
Yeah.
Except kind of turned up, and it's just zap. I mean, these birds are just igniting on contact. These poor little birds, they're getting hit with the sun, with the sun's reflection from 300,000 mirrors.
I got to ask you this: when you were a kid, did you take a magnifying glass and zap little ants?
I did not.
You didn't do that?
I tried once and I burned myself.
Okay, but at least you tried.
Yeah, I know, but I held the ant in my hand and I held the magnifying glass and then I burned my hand. I wasn't a very effective killer. I still am not.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have our All Linux show. Larry Bushy, our Going Linux podcast creator and host, and our correspondent on Linux is going to be here. Tomorrow's topic is going to be the most Googled questions about Linux and some answers to those questions. It's going to be an interesting show. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions about Linux, this is the place for you to be tomorrow night. It's our All Linux show with Larry Bushy. It's going to be a great show. Again, thanks for Intel for being here on our first hour. I can't believe you held the insect in your hand when you tried to zap them.
If it makes you feel better, the ant got away.
So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
10 seconds.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so we're off the air. And again, thanks to all of you who are watching us here on our live Computer America video streaming page. And, oh, they're all happy about the Linux show in the chat room.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
You guys moved the Linux show so Charles Tindall could get it.
That's right, and then I pointed out to Charles that he said, yeah, well, I talked to Larry Bushy this week. I said, know how we moved you to Thursday? He went, yeah, taking me with Charles? Yeah. I said, guess what? Charles is going to be here. And I said, we've got you there now. We're not going to move you back to Tuesday because I'm going to keep it for Gamer Tuesday night. So he's staying where he is. He's fine with it.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm just saying the option is completely open now. The extenuating circumstances that led to his
moving to
have been resolved.
It's gone. Yes, exactly. He's no longer.
So I mean, he could go back to his nice little nest that we made him on Tuesday.
Yeah. No, he's going to stay on Thursday. Okay.
Fine, I'll rewrite the website.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night here on Computer America. Have a good evening. We'll see you.
Night.